Hey there, it's Blue here and welcome to session 3 of Pathway to the Peak, where we break down and learn everything you need to know to get to a specific peak pose. Now we're taking our final steps to Warrior 3 or Virabhadrasana 3. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so as always, making sure you've got the necessary support. I always recommend having a block and a rolled up blanket or towel nearby. And that's it, we'll get started. So shift yourself towards the front of the mat. Face the fingertips towards the heels, take a breath in, lift the chest. And then lower yourself down as you exhale. Start to make your way down into a reclining position here. Start to find yourself, get yourself comfortable on the mat. Walking the feet back towards the hips until you feel the feet naturally just grounding down, just easily grounding into the mat. The spine, the lower back lengthening. Draw the chin in towards the throat a little bit. Find a little bit of space between ears and shoulders. Find somewhere comfortable for your arms. By default, I usually end up just resting my palms on my lower ribs here. And creating this space of awareness, of non-judgment, of exploration that we're always looking for. Let go of everything that's happened. And just allow yourself to settle in to this moment. Start to become hyper aware of your body. Without taking control or analysing, just start to notice your breath, just start to witness your breath. And just taking a few moments here. And when you're feeling settled in, when you're feeling present, I invite you to close your eyes. And just catching up on where we left our story of the creation of Virabhadrasana, or the 3 stages of our warrior pose. We had our 3 characters, Daksha, the father, Shakti, the daughter and the wife, and Shiva, the chilled out, meditating, dreadlocked husband that lives up on a mountain. And the father threw a huge party. And it was a big ceremony and he invited everyone. And he wasn't that fond of Shiva because Shiva's a bit of a chiller. And he's sitting up on the mountain, he's meditating. And he does pretty much whatever he wants. And the orderly king, Daksha, sort of wanted to flex his muscles a little bit, so he's decided to throw this huge party and didn't invite Shiva. And that's really ticked him off. That really threw him into a spin. And he's insulted and his pride's hurt. And his ego's upset. And then it's the night of the party and Shakti finds out Shiva's not coming and she's upset as well. She's heartbroken. She was looking forward to seeing him. She was looking forward to showing him off to all of her mates. And in the confusion, the drama and the heartbreak of it all, to show how upset she was, she went and found the ceremonial fire. And she jumped in front of everybody. And she sacrificed herself. And at this point, Shiva's so upset that he's torn a piece of his dreadlocks out, or one of his dreadlocks, and he's thrown it at the mountain, and the dreadlock slithered down the mountain, it went underground, it popped out as Virabhadra, as Warrior 1. And then he sent Virabhadra, launched through the air over to the party, over to Daksha's palace, and landed there. And Virabhadra is standing there with his arms in the air, holding his sword up in Warrior 1. And at this moment, Shiva finds out that Shakti is gone. She's sacrificed herself. And in the anger, he loses control. He orders Virabhadra to attack. Virabhadra unfolds his arms and slices the head of the king Daksha. And things are looking pretty bad at this point. Everybody's looking around at the party and there's a fair bit of commotion. People are panicking, people are leaving, people are running home. It feels like chaos. And that's where it can get to. It's one thing to stand our ground. It's one thing to be the warrior. But when we lose control of that warrior and we use it to punish and hurt and inflict damage, that's when we're no longer in control, and that's when chaos ensues. So bring your awareness back to your breath now. Take a deep breath in, expand the ribs. Rock the pelvis forward, let the lower back arch and let the front body expand. Take that deep breath in, that warrior breath. Then exhale with that controlled Ujjayi breath, and this is what we've been practicing since session 1. Controlling the breath. Gently open your eyes and find your drishti gaze, find your warrior focus. Staying with breath, inhale, expansion through the front body, pelvis rolls forward, pelvic tilts here. And in session 2, we were learning to stand our ground, we were learning to create our platform, stand strong and stand sure. So bringing that awareness in as well, grounding through the shoulders because we're laying down, through the shoulders, through the back of the head, and most importantly, through the soles of the feet. Take 3 more breaths here, so we're bringing it all together. Exhale, grounding down. And to build on top of all of that, we want to incorporate the adaptability of a warrior. So a warrior can stand strong, can hold guard, but also needs to be able to shift weight, pivot, and change directions, and embrace the chaos. So we're not rigid as a warrior. We can shift in our balance and find stability in uncertainty. So as we embody the warrior more and more, let's incorporate some of that into our practice today. 1 more deep breath into the chest. And a long exhale, ground down through the spine here. From here, we're going to reach the palms, or bring the palms in towards heart center, thread the hands up overhead. Reach through the fingertips. And then inhale, arch the back. Tilt the pelvis forward, give yourself big lift through the chest. You'll probably feel the thumbs touch the ground here, you may or may not, and you can have your hands wherever you like. Hands can even just be at heart center if you don't have the reach or the mobility. Then we're going to exhale, ground down through the lower back. Feel the front body firm, so the front body is taking on the weight of the arms, extending out over the head now as well. Pick the thumbs up just slightly away from the mat if your thumbs or your hands are resting on the mat or the ground. We want to suspend the arms there. Take a deep breath in, release. Let the tension fall away. The hands might come back down onto the floor now, arching the back. Exhale, grounding down through the lower back, suspend. the hands, reach through the fingertips. There's a softness in the elbow and we're still plugging the shoulders back into the body here. This time we're going to hold. So we're going to stay firm in the front body and we're going to breathe into the chest. Ujjayi breath, exhale. Inhale. Even feel the tailbone lift away from the mat just a touch. As you ground down through the soles of the feet, you should feel really nice warmth in the front body here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, bring the hands up overhead. Placing the palms down by the sides of the body. Take a deep breath in, roll the pelvis forward. Exhale, ground down, so staying with that movement, staying with that vinyasa, that flowing with breath. As you exhale, let's bring the right knee in now. Then we're going to extend the right leg, just like we did in session 1. Wrap the hands around the back of the right thigh and just start to extend out over the hamstring here. Not going too hard on ourselves just yet, we're still warming into our practice. If you feel lift in the tailbone, then try to press the hips back down into the mat, plug the leg back into the hip joint here, but still pressing through the heels. Stay long in the spine, maybe tucking the chin a little bit or lengthening the shoulders, or shuffling the shoulders away from the ears maybe. Give yourself 3 breaths. Exhale. Inhale. Exhaling. Inhaling. Lengthening and exhaling. Last one, inhale. Exhale, let's lower back down. Stay with breath here, let's inhale, take a pelvic tilt. Feeling the front body. Exhale, grounding. Bringing the left knee in. Wrapping the palms around behind the left thigh, pressing into the left heel, flexing back on the toes. Deep breath in. Exhale, remembering not to lift into the hips or rock in too much. Try to stay grounded. Spread the toes out on that standing foot. Spread the toes out on the lifted foot. Ground through the shoulders. Deep breath in. Long exhale. One more of those. Inhaling. Exhale, release. Sliding the heels back in towards the hips here. Well, we want the heels underneath the knees, so not in too far. Take a deep breath in, pelvic tilt again. Palms are by the sides of the body. We'll exhale, ground down. We'll press into the heels and we'll lift up into our bridge pose. Now what we want to do here is expand out over the hip flexors. So press the knees forward, tuck the tailbones under. The tailbone under. Press the shoulders in towards the mat here. Opening the chest up. Now find equal sturdy ground through the soles of the feet. Deep breath in. Long exhale. Squeeze the glutes. And this is going to help release out over the front of the body, out of the hip flexors here. Take one more deep breath in. Pressing the knees forward. Exhale, lowering down. On that same exhale breath, we're going to bring the right knee back in and wrap the hands around behind the right knee, or just the lower thigh there. Now from here, we're going to extend the left leg. So we're going to feel a nice opening out over the left hip flexor here as well. You might need to bend the right knee a little bit, and that's fine, or a little bit more. Press into the right heel, flex back on the toes. Stay open in the chest. Now press through the left heel and flex back on the toes of the left foot, or the extended leg. Ground down through the lower back and find this beautiful opening all the way from crown to left heel, from right hip to right heel. Perfect. Now see if you can Maintain this length in the right leg. Press into the heel, flex back on the toes like you're holding up the ceiling. Try to take the hands away from the leg here. Reach the hands up overhead. Front body is firm. And here we are, bringing it all together. Deep breath in. These movements are going to feel really familiar later on. If you need to bend this left knee a little bit, that's fine, to allow the lower back to ground down. Try to squeeze down through the lower back, even lift the tailbone a little bit, and you'll feel the pelvis rock forward and back a touch. Front body's fully engaged here. Deep breath in. Let's lower that right foot down. Bring the hands up overhead, bring the left knee in, flowing straight into the next pose. So, creating this length in the left leg first, plugging the left hip down into the mat, extending the right leg. Press through the left heel and flex back on the toes. Now same with that right leg, extending the right leg. If there's tension in the lower back, you can bend the right knee a little bit, or even place a block under that right knee would be fine. Either way, here we are. Nice opening in the hamstring, but let's see if we can maintain that posture. So there's going to be plenty of warmth in the hip flexors here. We're going to release the hands, we're going to reach them up overhead. Now, what we really want to do is stay firm through the front body. Press through this right heel. Length all the way from crown to right heel. Left hip to left heel. Arms aren't just falling into the floor, they're engaged. We're still plugging the shoulders back into the body as well. Deep breath in. Exhale, try to stay calm in the chaos. Deep breath in. And then we'll release. Lower that left foot down, slide the right foot back, bring the hands up overhead, squeeze the knees in towards the body, rock from side to side, release any tension in the lower back if need be. Take a couple of breaths here. Stay with your Ujjayi breath, stay with your focus. And then lower the soles of the feet down. Hands under the lower back. Pressing up onto hands and knees. Crossing the legs or finding your way up onto all fours here. And just sinking back down into Balasana, child's pose. Option to come into the full traditional variation. Hands facing up, reaching down or away from the, reaching towards the feet. Or you can have hands out in front resting on the forearms here. We'll just take 3 breaths. If you want to rock into the hips or something, that's fine. Just let yourself settle in. And they're pretty active flows that we're involved in these sessions, so make sure that you permit yourself to take rest if need be. And this is our resting pose. So always remind yourself that you can come back into this pose, reset, find your breath. Even warriors need to retreat to rest sometimes. And then take 1 deep breath in and a long exhale. We're going to walk our hands back out in front here. Hands are slightly wider than the shoulders. We're setting up for downward dog, so we can come up onto hands and knees, tuck the toes under, draw the navel in towards the spine, press into the heels and lift. Find your downward dog. We're here for 5 breaths. Start to walk out through the heels. Just start to awaken the hamstrings, starting to awaken the upper body a little bit. Pressing down into the fingertips and knuckles. Remember, we're standing strong and we're on all fours here, so we're not just relying on our feet. We also want to be firm in the palms as well. Couple of deep breaths in here. Breathe into the sides of the body. Use the exhale to lift the hips. Draw the navel in towards the spine. You might even start to just press down through both heels, finding the full expression of your downward dog here. We'll take one deep breath in, long exhale. Come all the way down to hands and knees. Keep the toes tucked. Reach up. Thread the hands through the midline, coming all the way up. And tucking the tailbone under. Opening the chest a little bit, gentle back bend. We really want to keep the front body firm here. Opening up over the hip flexors. 3 breaths, inhale. And it doesn't have to be a back bend, it can just be a nice front body opening as well. Keep a nice softness in the shoulders here, in the elbows. Press through the palms. Take a deep breath in and a long exhale. Take one more deep breath in and exhale, fold forward. Lowering the lower ribs down over the thighs, reach the hands back, bind the fingertips. We're here just for one deep breath in. Just a nice counter pose here. Bridge of the nose or crown on the mat. Reaching up through the knuckles and then releasing. Coming all the way back up into downward dog here. Take a deep breath in and a long exhale. One more of those, inhaling. Exhaling, stepping the right foot through to our low lunge here. So stepping next to the right wrist with the right foot, lowering down onto the left knee. Front body's engaged, tuck tailbone under, reach up. Deep breath in, opening up over the hip flexors here. Gentle back bend even, folding forward. Stepping back through Chaturanga Dandasana, whatever that looks like in your practice. Inhaling. Exhaling. Pressing back up, tucking the toes. Downward dog. Let's go through with the left side. We'll take a deep breath in and exhale, step through. Dropping down, inhale, peeling away. And exhale, folding forward. Stepping back and lowering through. Inhale. Exhale. Pressing back up to downward dog. Take 3 breaths here, reset. Long exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more, inhaling. Exhale, step through again with the right foot. Low lunge once more. Dropping down. Untuck the toes. And we're going to press forward here. And then exhale, come back. Lowering the right ribs down over the right thigh. Inhale, come forward, open the chest. Starting to warm these postural muscles along the spine. You can even lift the hands off the ground if you like, and then exhale. Inhale. Tailbone scooping under, and exhale. One more, inhaling. And exhaling. Let's take the full variation of our posture. Option to lift the ball of the foot up off the ground, flex back, or we can keep the sole of the foot on the ground, rolling the pelvis forward here, put some pressure down through the lower right ribs. Take 3 breaths. Long exhale. Deep breath in. Long exhale. We might even keep a sort of an upright length in the spine here. So instead of folding in, might lift the shoulders a little bit. Keep that sort of warrior assertiveness in our posture, in our practice. Equal weight through this front foot. Exhale. Now let's inhale, come forward. Press off the front foot, reach all the way up. And exhale, spill forward. Step back and find your Chaturanga Dandasana, whatever that may look like. Inhale, lifting. Exhale. Pressing back up. Toes are tucked now. Downward dog. Take a deep breath in. Stepping the left foot through. Lowering the right foot down, untucking the toes. Tailbone scooping under, lifting the chest. Nice opening through the chest. Nice warming in the postural muscles up along the spine there. Deep breath in. And then exhale. Tipping forward. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. You can even spread your wings back if you like. And exhale. I've lost count. We'll do one more. Inhale. And exhale. Full expression of the posture now. Squeezing the left ribs down over the left thigh. Lifting the tailbone towards the ceiling here. Let's keep a nice length in the spine. Taking 3 breaths. Equal weight through the front foot. Inhale. Exhale. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhaling. Bring the weight forward into that front foot. Tuck the tailbone under. Reach all the way up. Low lunge. Exhale. Fold forward. Stepping back through Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale. Lift. Upward dog or cobra. Exhale. Pressing back up. Downward dog. Let's stay with it. Deep breath in. Stepping the right foot through again. For low lunge now. Just like we practiced in session 2. Soften the left knee. Tuck the tailbone. Sweeping up. Stay with it. Exhale. Scoop the tailbone under. Make sure front body's engaged. Now start to press down into the left heel. Opening up over the left hip flexors here. Keeping the posture upright for now. Deepening that bend. If you're feeling confident, you can start to dip into the posture a little bit more. From here, we can reach up and start to tip over, which will bring the weight over into the front foot. We're going to keep the spine long. Crown of the head is shooting up towards the fingertips here. Press through that back heel like you're about to spring off onto this front foot. Take a deep breath in. You can even lift up onto the toes here, just playing around with shifting your weight forward and back. Take a deep breath in. That's enough for now. We'll fold forward. Step back and lower through. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, lifting. Cobra pose or downward dog. Exhale. Pressing back up. Toes are tucked. Downward dog. Take a deep breath in. Step the left foot through. Same again. Soften the back knee first to accommodate this lifting or scooping of the tailbone. Bringing the lower ribs in. Reaching up. And then start to put a little bit of pressure through this back heel. Not compromising the lower back ever. Deep breath in. Long exhale. Inhale. Exhale, maybe deepening the posture. Maybe pressing off the back heel and reaching forwards. Inhale. There's a lot of weight in this front leg now. We're trying to warm that quad. Warm the hamstring even by drawing back, scrubbing that left heel back. Deep breath in. Exhale. Keep the spine long. Inhale. Let's exhale, fold forward. You can come down to the knees or step straight back to high plank. And we can come all the way through or lowering to the knees, whatever's in your practice, lifting the chest. Cobra pose or up dog. Exhaling. Pressing back up. Sink down over the heels, just regrouping here. Virabhadrasana. Once again, bring the elbows down, if you like, and forehead to the back of the hands here. 3 deep breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhaling and exhaling. Last one. Inhale. Long exhale. Let's reach the hands forward. Come up onto hands and knees, finding our downward dog again. 5 breaths, downward dog. The body should be nice and warmed up now. Sitting in the downward dog. Remember, we're solid and stable, but we're also versatile and malleable. Ready to adjust. Ready to respond. And we're not rigid of mind. We're accepting the chaos. We're embracing it. We're embracing the warrior. Last exhale. I'm going to step to the front of the mat now. From here we're going to slide the hands back, up the shins, find a half lift. Wrap the sides in, find length in the neck. Drishti gaze, fierce gaze, down towards the mat here, just in front of the feet. Possibly a bend in the knees, and the knees are stacked above the heels and under the hips. They're not bowing inwards at all. From here we're going to bring our hands to our hips or to heart center. Now if this feels like enough, then stay here for a few breaths. Otherwise, we can experiment with reaching the hands out in front. We're going to have to bring the weight back into the heels a little bit. This is putting quite a bit of weight into the spine here, so moving with care. Try to rock the weight forward and back in the feet and just play around with it a little bit. Try not to lose your breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. From here we're going to bend the knees a lot. Wrap the hands around the backs of the thighs, or the shins, sorry, and come into a forward fold, Uttanasana. Try not to let the chest cave in. Stay open in the chest. Lift the hips. Once again, bringing the lower ribs down to the knees. The lower ribs down to the upper thighs, not the knees. And give yourself 5 breaths here. I like to press into the heels. Stay active in the arches by pressing into the balls of the feet, especially the knuckle behind the big toe. Inhale. Nice big hamstring opening. Exhale. Inhale. Exhaling. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Bend the knees a lot. Sink down into the hips, lift the chest. Sweeping up. Exhale, bring hands down to heart center. Take a moment here to find your feet, to find your breath. Inhale. Give yourself a long, focused, controlled Ujjayi exhale. Feel yourself ground down, settle into the mat. From here, we're going to find our foundation on the left foot. We're going to bring the right knee up. And we're just going to play with finding our balance here. Taking a couple of breaths. Hands can be wherever you're comfortable. Make sure the front body's engaged. We're not falling into our lower back. We're grounding through this left foot. Not just the heel though. We're engaging the arch. We're clawing in with the toes. Then I'm going to reach for the top of the right foot and I'm going to press my knee towards the mat. But I'm really scooping the tailbone under here and I'm looking for a nice opening in the hip flexor and the quad here. If you're really feeling explorative, you can reach the opposite hand up. You feel this really nice front body opening, but try not to let the ribs flare. Like you're trying to point the tailbone as well as the right knee towards the mat here. And you can even draw the foot in towards the hip if your knee permits. Taking a couple of breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And now let's just release. Exhale. Lower that right foot back down. Let's have a go on the right hand side now. Or standing on the right foot, lifting the left knee. Front body's engaged. Maybe you're a little bit wobbly. Maybe you need to put that foot down again. That's fine. Remember, we're playing with the chaos. We're adjusting as we go. We're strong and we're solid, but we're versatile. So don't allow yourself to be rigid. And then bring the left hand to the top of the left foot. Engaging front body first. Try to keep the hips square with the front of the mat. And then point your tailbone towards the mat, or like you're trying to point your tailbone down the back of your right leg. Pressing the left knee towards the mat. And we can start to even draw the left heel in towards the body if the knee permits. Option to reach the right hand up overhead. Taking 3 to 5 breaths, whatever your balance permits. Anchor yourself with your drishti gaze. Ground yourself with your breath. One more deep breath in. And then release. Bring the hands down by the sides of the body. Ground yourself in. Take a couple of breaths. And we'll meet up with hands at heart center. Just taking 3 to 5 breaths here. Standing at attention. Mind clear. Gaze focused, breath steady. Find your drishti gaze, find your anchor point. Release the hands. We're going to step the right foot back to a 45-degree angle here. Rotate the hips, or rotate the right hip so it's facing forward towards the front of the mat. From here we're going to bend into the left knee. Warrior one. Stay firm through that front foot. Find your platform. Ground down through the back foot. Here we are, presenting ourselves. Transition warrior two. Back foot spins out. Bending into the left knee stacked above the heel. Taking action. The arms open up. Draw your sword. Play with your warrior. Find your breath here. Embrace the posture. And then finally, we're going to swivel up onto the ball of the back foot, rotating the hips forward once more. We're standing forward. We're going to bring the hands out in front. And this is where Warrior 3 was created. Virabhadra, after slicing the head off, with the elegance of a warrior, he leaps forward and catches the head, presenting his victory. And finding that strength and fluidity and balance between order and chaos, he holds it, floating on the standing leg, calm and strong. Take a deep breath in, and then bring the right foot down to meet the left foot. Let the hands fall down by the side. Inhale, reach up. Bring hands to heart center. Back at attention. Let's have a go on the left side. Take a deep breath in. Step the left foot back, Warrior 1. Set your posture up, squaring the hips off with the front of the mat. Bend deeply into the right knee. Ribs, lower ribs are drawing in, front body's engaged, spine is long. Draw your sword, Warrior 2. Back foot, 45-degree angle. Hips rotate out. Knee stacked above the heel. Sturdy posture, but not rigid. Soften the shoulders. Gaze out over the tip of your sword. Then, changing shape, spinning up onto the ball of the back foot. Shooting forwards and taking flight. Hands might be at heart center. They might be on the hips. Trying to level the hips off and press through the heel, pointing the toes towards the mat. Gaze is on the front of the mat here, not crunching into the neck. Take a couple of breaths in your warrior. Embrace the chaos. Stand strong, hold your ground. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Use the exhale to bring hands down. Left foot meets the right foot. Reach up. Hands back down to heart center. Sama Sthiti. Standing at attention. Taking a couple of breaths. Ujjayi breath. Fierce Dristi gaze. Stand in your victory. One more deep breath in. Reaching up. And exhale, bending the knees a lot, folding forwards. From here, we're going to step the right foot back. Spin around so the toes are pointing towards the long edge of the mat here. And just let yourself spill forward into a wide-legged forward fold. Hands might be on a block. They might be supporting your upper body. Either way, let yourself dangle like a pendulum for a moment. Bring hands to elbows if you like. Hands can be resting on the mat. Press down through the heels. Lift up with the tailbone towards the ceiling and let the upper body just spill forward from here. Let all the weight melt away from the spine, off the back of the neck, off the crown of the head. And then start to walk the hands back towards the front of the mat, just pivoting on that front foot, pivoting on the back foot, coming down to hands and knees. Bring the knees out nice and wide here, toes together, and sink down. Wide-legged Balasana. Take variations with the arms, whatever suits your anatomy, whatever offers you the most release. And let yourself settle in for a moment. And the story doesn't end there, because the victory wasn't a victory. The victory was Shiva's ego, Shiva's anger manifesting itself. And it started out as him holding his ground, protecting his own honor. Which is fine, but then it turned into something else. It turned into aggression. It became out of control. He was no longer in control of his warrior. He was no longer in control of his protective self. He acted out and he harmed. Even if he was defending Shakti. He lost balance. So at this point, he's picked up the warrior and he's turned him back into a dread, and he's just put him back in his hair, and he's realised what's going on. So that's enough for today, Virabhadra. But he feels pretty bad at this point. And Shiva starts to realise what's going on. And then because they're gods, Shakti decides to come back, she says to herself, no, that's a bit much. You've gone too far now. We were all trying to prove a point, but this has just got out of hand. The party's ruined. Everyone's running around the village screaming in terror. And she manifests herself. She turns back up. And as Shakti does, she's a being of consciousness. So as she turns up and she speaks those words, Shiva becomes conscious of his actions. He starts to feel remorse and realise what's happened just out of him protecting his own pride. And so from there, what he does in godlike yogic mythological tradition, he sacrifices a goat, cuts the head off the goat, places that head down on the body of Daksha. And of course Daksha comes back to life. The king comes back to life. and our 3 characters turn out to be okay. But the moral of the story is to always invite Shiva to the party. Always make sure he's on the guest list. No, the moral of the story is to always act with consciousness. Sometimes we have to stand there. Sometimes we have to stand our ground. Sometimes things will hurt our pride. But we never want to act on impulse. We never want to be triggered. We always want to be in control, aware and conscious. So from here we'll take a deep breath in, the long exhale, then start to walk the hands out away from the body. We'll bring ourselves back up onto hands and knees. Kick the legs out to the side. Extend the legs out in front. Shift the hips forward. Take a deep breath in, lift the chest. And exhale, lowering down. Walk the feet back towards the body now. We'll place the right foot on top of the left knee. Gently draw the knee in, or the left knee in towards the body. Bind the fingers around the back of the left thigh or the left shin. Ground the shoulders. Try to let all effort fall away. If you need to prop yourself up on something, that's fine. You might even need to prop your tailbone up on a blanket or a block, that's fine as well. Or the back of your head. Otherwise, we're just taking a couple of breaths here. Let all that tension in the hips, the legs, in the lower back, and the shoulders, let it all fall away. Maybe rocking yourself from side to side a little bit. And then release now. Lower the soles of the feet down. And we'll start on the other side. As always, being conscious of the asymmetries of our body. Reaching for the back of the right thigh or the right shin. Sometimes it's nice to rock from side to side. Try not to be too ambitious in the posture. We're looking for a nice big opening, but we're not creating too much tension. We're looking to release tension here. Take a deep breath in now and release. Bring the feet out really nice and wide. Start to rock from side to side. And that's the story of Virabhadra, the warrior, and the 3 stages of Virabhadrasana. Warrior 1, 2, and 3. It's a cool story. A lot of action. Very dramatic. We're We'll bring the knees back up to a neutral position now. Extend the legs. Feet are nice and wide, let the feet fall out to the side. If you need to prop the knees up or the back of the head, that's fine. Soften the chest, soften the shoulders. Take a deep breath in here. Open the mouth, let go of your Ujjayi breath. Soften the gaze. Long exhale. Then let your breath fall back into a neutral breath with no effort at all. A gentle, soft belly breath. Let your body take control. From here we can just sit in the moment. Just observing. Taking it all in. And letting it all go. Just giving it a few more moments. Try not to let the mind wander. Try not to let it take this experience away. Try to let yourself stay in the body. Stay in this moment. And then start to move the body around a little bit. Or there's the option to stay a little bit longer. You stay as long as you like. Otherwise, we're just shifting back out of the pose. We're starting to open our eyes. We're starting to move the body around. Reawaken the body. And we're making our way up into a seated position. Sealing our practice, as always, with some gratitude for ourselves, our bodies, our ability to change and learn and grow and adapt. For the food we eat, the water we drink, and the air we breathe. We'll take a deep breath in. Namaste.